welcome to this week's edition of Will G's Football Talk Show. Happy Thanksgiving. We got 3 big games coming up today. I am so excited. Thanksgiving and football match up so perfectly together because 2 of my favorite things, food and football. I love it so much. We have a big day, so stay tuned. You know, we kick the episode off every week. We're going to break down last week's game. So let's get into it. D-Hop lit up primetime Thursday night, going for 6 receptions, 94 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the Texans' huge win over the Colts. They now take a demanding lead on the division. Baker Mayfield kind of had some highlights of his old self this week against the Dolphins. They are now on a 3-game winning streak and have re-entered their name in the wildcard hunt. The Saints escape from Carolina this Sunday after the Panthers missed a field goal, letting Drew Brees drive down the field, and Lutz hit a game-winning field goal as time expired, and the Panthers went on to lose 31-34. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans both have hit the 1,000-yard receiving mark, and it's only week 12. They had a dominating win over the Falcons, 35-22. Death, taxes, and Derrick Henry tearing up the Jaguars' defense. He had 19 carries for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know what it is with Derrick Henry going against the Jaguars, but he always finds ways to dominate them. The 49ers defense completely stomped Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers this week as they held Rodgers to 100 yards on 33 passing attempts. The 49ers went on to win 37-8. Lamar stole the show and is now the front runner for the MVP this season after they stomped the Rams Monday night 45-6. They are now averaging 40 points per game over their last 5 games. That's all for this week's recap. Let's get into some fantasy talk. So my starters and sinners for this week start Kyler Murray versus the Rams. Before the bye, Kyler Murray was red hot, averaging 30 fantasy points per game. And the Rams just got tore up by dual threat quarterback Lamar Jackson, so I expect similar numbers out of Kyler Murray. Also start Jared Cook versus Atlanta tonight. Jared Cook is finally becoming a big piece of this Saints offense. He is now averaging 15 points per game over his last 3 games after averaging very low numbers to the start of the season. Also, he's going to be going against a beat-up Atlanta Falcons defense, so make sure Cook is in your starting lineup tonight. Sit Joe Mixon versus the Jets. Joe Mixon has been nothing but disappointing this year. Also, he's going to be going up against the Jets' run defense, which is the best in the league. They're first in yards allowed, also first in yards per attempt. So, make sure Mixon's on your bench this weekend. Also, sit Emmanuel Sanders versus Baltimore this week. It's already going to be tough enough to go up against Marlon Humphrey this week, let alone being in a fantasy slump. Over the last 3 weeks, he's averaged 4 fantasy points per game, and I don't think Marlon Humphrey's going to let him out of this one. So, those were my startums and my sit-ems for this week. Let's move on to the injury report. Eric Ebron may be hitting IR with an ankle injury. He's been battling this ankle injury all week, and rumors have it that he may need surgery on both ankles. Golden Tate could miss some extensive time after a concussion that he suffered in Sunday's game versus the Bears. Ravens take a tough blow as they lose center Matt Sakira for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. He was a key piece to that Ravens O-line. Hunter Renfro's season may be coming to a close after puncturing his lung in Sunday's game versus the Jets. And some good news, Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen, Alshon Jeffrey, and Jordan Howard are supposed to be back this week after missing some time with their certain injuries. And that's all for this week's injury report. Stay healthy, boys. Now let's get into my picks. So let's start off with my betting picks. Last week I went 1-1. My Baltimore pick hit this week as I predicted the Rams to win by 3 or more, and boy did they ever, as they went on to win 45-6 over the Rams. And my Lions won, of course. The Lions laid an egg on me. I projected the Lions to win by 4 or more. They went on to lose 19-16 over Washington. Come on, Detroit, it's Washington. Whatever, let's get into this week's picks. I have the Jets to win by 4 or more this week over Cincinnati. The Jets are on a 3-game win streak with a plus 55 point differential. So they're kind of blowing their teams out of the water. So I fully expect the Jets to win by 4 or more this week. So put some money on the Jets. Also take the Baltimore and 49ers over a 46 this week. Baltimore is on a freaking rampage right now, averaging 45 points per game over their last 3 and 40 points per game over their last 5. A true offensive domination. Yeah, I know they're going to be going up against a tough 49ers defense, but I don't think there is any team right now stopping Lamar Jackson. Also, the 49ers have averaged 33 points per game over their last 3 games, so I think that these two offenses will be able to combine for more than 23 points each. I fully expect them to hit that over this week. So those were my betting picks. Let's get into this week's Will G's Rapid Fire predictions. I went 8-5 last week, putting me at 92-61 overall on the season. Lucas's lock hit, putting him at 9-3 on the year as well. So let's get into it. The Bears head to Detroit and gobble up the Lions, 21-13. The Cowboys get the bigger half of the wishbone in their much-needed win over the Bills, 28-24. Drew Brees and the Saints stuffed the Falcons tonight, 34-22 to close out this year's Thanksgiving football games. The Titans make a playoff push in a huge win over the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium, 28-21. Lamar embarrasses Bosa and the 49ers defense, and that red-hot Ravens team cannot be stopped as they go on to win 38-28. The Jets win 4 straight and smash the Bengals 23-7. The Steelers can't get their revenge, and the Browns improve to 500 on the season in their 21-10 victory. Philly finally gets a dub after a tough stretch of games as they go on to dominate the Dolphins 33-17. The Panthers get a much-needed win over the Redskins to keep their playoff hopes alive in this week's Lucas Hoig Lock of the Week, 34-14. Aaron Rodgers rolls over the Giants this week in the Big Apple, 32-22. Famous Jameis takes on the Jaguars in the battle for Florida, and they come out victorious, 34-28. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals stun the Rams, and Jared Goff gets arrested from stealing from the Rams as the Cardinals go on to win, 34-28. Mahomes and the Chiefs dominate the Raiders after a week of rest and relaxation, 34-20. Rivers heads into Denver, but he cannot handle that mountain air as the Broncos go on to win, 23-17. Tom Brady lights up the Texans in Sunday night's matchup in front of the whole nation, and they improve to 11-1, 28-24 Patriots. Dalvin Cook finds his groove early, and the Vikings barely squeeze one out in Seattle, 31-28. And that'll wrap up my picks for this week. Also, you know how it goes. That will wrap up this week's edition of Will G's Football Talk Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button for more weekly and NFL content. I hope all of you guys have a great and happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful for football because it brings people like me into your lives every week when you guys watch my videos. Be thankful for your team because it brings you joy, win or lose. At the end of the year, you still love them and you ride or die with them. It's an amazing sport, so I am thankful for that. Make sure to give thanks to your loved ones on a great Thursday and enjoy the holiday weekend, everybody. Bear down.